Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're alright, hope you're well. It's been a while since I've actually recorded a video, believe it or not. Although you see videos going out consistently, I actually had like 7 videos made. So I've not made a video in probably 4 or 5 weeks. Not recorded anything in 4 or 5 weeks. Anyway, this video is an important one because it's about managing customers' expectations and how we do it, and sometimes how we struggle to do it, and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so obviously we're a company and we have lots of customers, lots. Obviously, for the most part, nothing but good feedback from all customers. Customers are usually very happy with their vans, but because we have so many customers, we're always going to get some customers that aren't as happy as the others. Does happen from time to time. I'd say, I don't know, couple a year maybe. So obviously our company's kind of split into 2 sections, and I'm not talking about Powerhouse, I'm talking about Coalition, split kind of into 2 sections. So our bread and butter is building complete camper vans from start to finish. Customer drives a van in here, they drive it out complete, and that's it. They give us a pot of money and we build it, and that's it. Off they go, and then off to their adventures or wherever they're going. But also on the other side of it, we have people that come in to have a max fan fitted or a battery fitted or windows, you know what I mean. They're coming for like upgrades, odd jobs, bits and bobs and that kind of thing. My phone's ringing. So, for the most part, the van building side of it goes smoothly. We rarely get dissatisfied customers. On the repair side, sometimes we do. So, and most of the problems, to be fair, come from us having to say no to something, or we can't put it there, or we can't do that, or we can't do this. And then customers saying, well, I've seen it somewhere else where it's there. And I said, well, you can't put it there because your plumbing's there and it's not there in that other, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So sometimes I think that customers think that we say no just because we can't be asked to do it. And obviously we're a business and we very much can be asked to do everything because that's what we do here. And sometimes, let's say we're building a full van for somebody, we have to say that bed isn't going to fit there, or your shower can only be this big because of everything else that you've added in your van. And once you say no a few times, that customer does get upset. And we do have that from time to time. And the aim of this video really is to be transparent with you, because obviously we talk about everything else. So why would I not talk about something that, the things that don't always go right? Like, I've said it before in a video, every company ever that does, offers a service or a product or whatever is gonna get unhappy customers. Apple, for example, are gonna get unhappy customers. Like the Tesla will get unhappy customers. All the biggest companies in the world will get unhappy customers. There's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about having unhappy customers. It's how you deal with it afterwards that is the key part of it. So in the past, I've had unhappy customers. I've had customers that have had components fail. Obviously, not necessarily our fault. They could be covered under a warranty anyway. I've had customers that live in their van for a while and don't like the layout. That's only happened on one occasion, I think. But again, we're sure to make sure that we've got plans. We build to their spec. If they make a wrong decision, obviously it ain't our fault. We can only advise, and if the customer still insists, we sort of have to do it. There's not been many occasions where I've flat out refused to do something. I've just been very firm with the customer and said, that is not going to fit there. That will not work. This idea is better, or this idea will work better. This might benefit you more if we do it this way. So when these situations happen, it's difficult because, again, for 99% of the time, everybody here has a good relationship with customers. And we are, sounds cliche, but we do consider the customers are part of our family. We catch up with them, we share banter with them, we talk about personal things with customers sometimes. We've become very good friends with some customers. So we try out that. I mean, that's the basis of everything here, is to make sure that customers are happy with what they're getting. When we do have to say no to things, it makes things very difficult in that, again, as I've just said, the customer sometimes thinks that we're saying it just because we can't be bothered, or we don't want to do it, or this, that and the other. But let's just say they want a 4.5 foot double bed, they want a large seating area that they can sleep on, and they want a large shower, and they've got a medium wheelbase van. There's got to be compromise somewhere, and that compromise has got to come from either that bed being smaller, or that seating area that converts into a bed being smaller, or the shower being small. You can't have all the big things. And then we get, oh well, I've seen this van with a double bed in. Just an unusual noise in the workshop when I'm the only one here. Obviously it's a poltergeist or something like that. So we do from time to time have customers that are unhappy with things. For the most part though, the customers that come here and say, I want this, this and this, here's my plans, here's my money, go do it. They are always the customers that are happy. Always the customers that go out of here, and we rarely hear from them again other than to check in and that kind of thing. We don't get any complaints, we don't have anything go wrong particularly. Obviously we do a lot of testing here as well, like just to go off onto that. Like once we complete a van, we keep it for at least a week to make sure everything's fine. Even though we might have been testing it for the previous month as well, we have a finished date, and then we go, right, you can pick it up on this date after we've done all the testing and that kind of thing. More recently, we've had a difficult situation with a customer. I'm not going to go into it too much because this video is not about it. Usually, it's when customers don't have as much money as a normal customer and want the same quality of van, the same components, and all that, but they've only got a third of the money. That causes us problems because obviously we want to build that van for that person. We want to make their dreams come true. We want to make them happy. But the end product is never going to be up there with all the others because obviously the budget's completely different, which means the components aren't going to be as good. Some of the we're limited in what we can build inside the van. We have to work to that budget, which we don't do very well at that. And one of my big issues is that I'm somebody who tends to not turn things down and say, I build up a relationship with a customer and I'll say, yeah, of course we can do that. All right, that budget is going to be tight, but maybe we can do this, this and this. I always try and keep customers. I always try and keep them with us, and I always try and help. I've said before, we don't make a massive amount of profit here because it's never been about that. It's always been about our love of doing this job. Like Lee, for example, does it because he loves. He could go get a job somewhere else and do something else, probably earn way more money. He's not come here for that reason. He's come here because he enjoys, and weirdly, me and Lee had a similar style of building vans anyway. So then when our two fucking I don't even know why I swore then, when our two sort of paths came together, even though we've known each other since school, it was just a natural thing that happened, and we started building vans a certain way, and they started obviously improving. So we build vans out of the love for doing it. We're not bored of it. We can be arsed. We can be bothered. I think that sometimes when we have to say no or turn things down, people take that as that, and it just never is that. But obviously, you lot know that how money works. How if you want a £1,000 phone, but you've only got 500 quid, you're getting a 500 quid phone, not a £1,000 phone. You can't just walk into the Apple store and say, I've seen these really good phones that you've got, I'd like one of them. Trouble is, I've only got half the money, but can I still have that top thing? we all know what the answer to that is. We all know that. So we have to say that sometimes, and we have that. We get the kickback from that sometimes, and that's that. Anyway, I understand this video is seemingly quite negative now because I've gone on a negative tangent with it. It was never meant to be. In fact, let me tell you, I wasn't even meant to be at work today. It's Sunday and it's 11:20 in the morning. I've got other errands to run. I just came into the office and thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about that thing that I've been thinking about for the last few days. So here we are. So obviously we try our best to manage expectations. I've seen a few comments on a recent van tour video as well that's kind of kicked off a little bit better than normal videos. So it's attracted a different audience. But people pointing out that there's no toilet in the van and pointing out that there's no cooking facilities in the van. Now, one of our newer things is to remove the induction hob from the worktop so that when you're not cooking, you've got a full worktop to do whatever you want to do on it. So we now use portable ones that you can hide in a drawer. We don't always. If the customer specifies they want a permanent fixed induction hob, of course we're going to do it. There's no cost difference. But we like the idea of having that clean worktop for when you need it and then being able to... So anyway, we put induction hobs in pretty much every van we do. Sometimes they're just hidden in a drawer in a cupboard. There's a slot made for it to go into. And obviously, we also recommend using air fryers because we don't fit gas here. We don't do gas. We don't touch gas anymore. We haven't done for years. Various reasons. We don't believe it's safe. Places to get gas from now are getting more and more difficult. Petrol stations are not selling LPG as much as they used to, so we stopped selling it and we concentrated on building electric off-grid vans, and we're making a success of that. So let's not talk about gas anymore. Let's not talk about dead dinosaurs and all that kind of thing, fossil fuels and stuff. We're moving on. Solar power. I forgot totally where I was going with this. So we've had a few comments about stuff like that. I just wanted to clear that up in case any of them people are watching. That part of it is a customer's decision. So we offer the customer the choice between having a built-in induction hob or an under-counter one or a slide-out one or a hidden in a cupboard one and all that kind of thing. In fact, I've got an interesting van tour coming up, hopefully after this video, where the induction hob has quite a cool little hideaway bit and the customer really likes it. Sometimes when we're building vans, we come up with an idea mid-build and we'll say, all right, hear me out, what do you think to this? And then the customer can say, yeah, that's a good idea, or no, I prefer not to have that. Sometimes we have to build things that the customer wasn't expecting to get around a problem in the van. So we have got a van in at the moment that we've had to build a unique, not very unique, it's been done in other vans before, but a different kind of ceiling to try and eliminate a number of problems with the shape of the van and all that kind of thing, to try and make it look pleasing to the eye, but also practical with space and all that. So whilst we have definite plans in place, it's an ever-evolving thing. Now, what we can't do, which happens a lot and upsets customers, is a customer says, oh, can we change that after something's already built? And we'll say, yeah, that's a good idea actually, we'll change that. Or we'll say, if we change that, we're going to have to dismantle your shower, dismantle your bed, and then do this, this and this to make that work. At this stage, either it's not going to work, it's not practical, it's going to look rubbish, it's going to delay your build by a couple of weeks because we've got to dismantle everything, but also it's going to probably be an additional cost as well because we've already spent X amount of money on building it as it is. So we always try and manage expectations where we can, but there's lots of things that probably you lot didn't consider and wouldn't really understand, which is why I made this video, to try and, let you know that, I don't know why my arms are doing all this stuff today. Just give you a bit of an insight into sometimes where things aren't always perfect. Again, we have a great relationship with pretty much all our customers. There's probably only a handful that we don't really speak to much, or don't speak to anymore, or yeah. But for the most part, it's all good. We are dead busy at the moment. A few updates on other things. I've got another knee operation next week, which I'm pissed off about. It's been a year since my last one. I've now got to go under again, which means I'm not going to be at work, which means we're going to be a staff member down, although I'm useless anyway, so they probably won't miss me. But obviously, just had a baby and that as well. She's doing all right. She's now 2 months old. I don't know when you saw videos mentioning it, but she's now 2 months old. All those, yeah. Somebody said in a comment on a video saying, basically telling me to shut up. Everybody has babies and nobody moans about it. Bro, I've got more babies than most people. I'm not moaning about it. I'm just saying I'm frigging tired. I'm allowed to tell you I'm tired if I'm tired. I'm not expecting you to come around here and like do anything for me or help me, alright? I'm just saying, bloody tired. And I still am, because the little bugger isn't the best sleeper and doesn't like me as well, which makes things extra difficult. Anyway, bugger off. I'm going. Love you. See you at next one. See you at next one. It's a beard meets food thing. I didn't mean to say that. Bye, Felicia.